Hello, I'm Kate McKay, and welcome to Survive to Thrive. Today, I will be interviewing Barbara King, who is embellishing lives through wardrobe consulting and yoga. That's her message and her motto. She is the owner of BKS Yoga Studios, and I'm really excited to interview Barbara today. So welcome, Barbara. She's got it. There she is. Welcome, Barbara. High five. Now,
High five, girl.
Literally, like, there is no words to how much we laugh when we're together. It's pretty scary. So let me just give a quick story about Barbara before we delve in. But Barbara and I met at a writing retreat in Carmel. And I think it was within like the first 30 minutes, we got ourselves in all kinds of trouble because for some reason, we literally couldn't stop laughing. And it was a super serious, everyone was like really like serious writers. And we were rolling around like kittens on the floor. We got all kinds of dirty licks, but let's just say it was love from first kitten roll.
Yes.
So welcome. Sure. Thank you so much. So Barb, how are you surviving this really intense time?
You know, for me, this was so funny. I was actually talking to somebody this morning about how I'm enjoying routine. Now, you know, I'm a Sag. We do not like routines, but I've created a routine for myself to keep me motivated, to keep me positive, and to keep me moving. Mm-hmm. So I start my morning. I fortunately can leave and come to my yoga space, which I'm at right now, which is literally 3-minute drive from my home. And I do a Facebook Live at 10 a.m. Vinyasa flow, just awesome. Simple 30 minutes of a yoga. And people can look or they can view it on our website or YouTube.
Great.
And then I plan a meal that I can cook because cooking for me is very therapeutic. Mm-hmm. It's very therapeutic. Cool. I've been really enjoying that. And I really just keep checking in with myself going, okay, what's today? What's my word of today? So today my word is balance. Mm-hmm. So whatever that looks like for me, it's balance. Yesterday it was stability. Mm-hmm. Yesterday I was all over the place emotionally.
Right. True story. Right.
True story. I mean, I didn't have a great day.
Stability and chaos.
Yes.
Yep. That's a story.
Yep.
And a bestseller.
Yep. Yeah, totally. And then I do a 6 p.m. meditation mm-hmm. at my home, and I Facebook Live that, and that is literally 10 minutes of a meditation.
That's
and
great.
That really helps me end my day.
Right. And you know what's so amazing about that is you're grounding yourself, but you're also helping other people ground in your community. So we will definitely share those links in our call because those are available to the public for now until this whole Zoom thing. People are pirating into Zoom accounts, which is quite sad. So everyone be safe out there on so many levels. So yes. That's great. So being a person that doesn't like routine and being a creative and being an entrepreneur, how are things different for you right now, Barb? How have you feel that things are different for you? What are you learning about yourself as a mom, as a woman, as a lover? You know, in what ways are things shifting for you?
So things that are shifting for me is that I am always traveling. Every 6 weeks, I'm like, I got to get out of here. And I now have a better understanding of that because when I travel, that's my happy place. Mm-hmm. It's where I get to be with people. I get to see and experience different atmospheres. Mm-hmm. And I love that. That gives me energy. And not being able to do that, I've really have been able to do these free videos for people. I've been able to really enjoy being home because I'm always running somewhere. I'm always running out, visiting with a friend. And I also realized that my life is not as social as I thought it was.
Interesting.
So yeah. I make an effort and get on the phone with one friend a day. Mm-hmm. I'll call my friends from LA, from New York, and just connect with them. And that I'm always calling my parents too, to make sure they're okay.
Sure. And you know what's interesting about that, which is so funny, because both people would think you and I being really seemingly, big energies, clearly. And then also like that we are not as extroverted as people think. And I had this conversation with the men I'm interviewing, because I think it's very funny, very interesting and very fascinating, actually, that the number one thing that men need for self-care is community. Number one, because look at now, men don't have work and they don't have sports. So, we're talking about reaching out to elderly, and I'm bringing this up pretty much on every call, that it's just important that you're reaching out to single people, men and women, particularly men, because their risk of suicide and such is quite high. So, and I think that's also interesting, and just a reflection to what you said, that here we are, like, you'd think that community would be so organic, and even for us, it's not. So, wow, what a paradigm shift.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'm seeing it in my son. My son's 13, and I really have to really check on him a lot, because even today I saw his moods like this. Right. And I don't want to pry too much. I want to give him his space, but also make sure he's okay.
Yeah, good call. And I wrote an article about how men express grief and loss, and their expression is different. So I think it's great that you're just checking in. Hey, buddy, if you need, because I hear this often from women, and especially women of moms of sons, I'm giving him space. They don't always need space as much as we think they do. And what they view, what we feel is we view as maybe them brushing us off, which it does feel like that. And legit, they kind of are. Even like our, significant others. It's okay. Don't take it personal if they're abrupt to you, but just understand that their grief and their process is different. And it doesn't look like our girlfriends. Right. So yes. I think that's great. Check in with your people, including your children. This is a fragile time. And again, this is a level playing field. And the reason why I'm doing this show is that so we can rise each other up during this time, and bringing in people that I certainly know and love as game changers and the helpers with a capital H.
Yay.
Yay. So what are you seeing? So I know you've been working on a lot of branding, and really, I think that because your kids are getting that age where you're having a little bit more freedom, I know that you're working a little bit more on legacy branding. And I'd love to talk to you about that, because what is it that legacy means to you, Barbara? How would you define that, in essence, what's calling to you in your soul for your legacy?
So my legacy is just what my mission statement is: enhancing the quality of people's lives, and realizing that if you're not fulfilling yourself, you can't fulfill for others. So I'm teaching people to put themselves first, and not in a selfish way. Makes you, like, for me, I've got to take a little bit of time to be by myself or regroup and replenish. So that, for me, I always think legacy, okay, so what do I want someone to say about me, at my eulogy? And it's that I impacted people's lives in a positive way. So that's really, I know it's very broad, is that,
awesome.
Okay, I just want to enhance people's lives, whether it be through fashion, whether it be through health, fitness, yoga. I brought in this, I don't know if it's okay for me to bring up the biocharger.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. New technology coming out there. Big
tech. Yep. I really believe in this technology. It's been researched. It's FDA approved. It's called the biocharger. And you sit in front of it, 6 feet in front of it. And you.
How ironic, 6 feet.
Is that correct? I know. Unbelievable. Yeah. And there's over 1,000 recipes to choose from. So you could help, athlete recovery, eczema, dementia, have a better quality of life. And this is what this machine is doing for people. And it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about that. And we'll share this link. And if you're in the Florida area, Barb is going to be, she has this in her yoga studio. So big, huge connection. So we will definitely share the link in the show notes. But Barb, what is it? So I know about the things that people stand on that provide the vibration and the frequency, which is huge because sound does heal. It completely does. So can you talk a little bit about the technology?
Yes. So it's the Tesla coil, and around it's got these plasma tubes that have, every tube is custom to its certain gases. And the gases come up with the plasma, the Tesla tube protects it and brings it to positive frequency up at the top. So it would be like you spending years out in the sun where the sun is somewhat negative. This brings in the natural, the light, the cells that replenish us. This is what the machine does for us. So it's like charging your phone. This is what this machine does to the cells in your body.
Oh, that's amazing. And so where was this developed originally and when?
Texas.
Okay, Texas. Yeah. And how recent was that, Barb? Do you know?
Years ago. So they did research for over 30. The idea of it, and the idea of the frequency, the sound, and the color is a million years. Like it's thousands and thousands of decades ago that they came up with this. And Tesla, as you know, he created this energy that allows us to have free light, free, you know, everything free. So he was not able to succeed in there, but this machine is just as good. It's a game changer. It really is. It even has the Wuhan recipe.
Wow, that's kind of wild. All right, so yeah, I definitely got to check that out. I got to come down and visit you. I have.
You better.
When we're free to roam the premises.
I know.
Yeah. So I have a couple questions for you. So I know that a lot of women in particular, because, you know, your yoga studios are predominantly women. You touched on this for sure. And I've heard you and I have talked about this quite a bit. What are people coming to you, Barb, what are they looking for? What do they want you to tell them?
So this is a great question. I had a client who I was here because I'm here every morning. I fortunately can go and come to my space. And she was drawn to me. She was walking and she goes, I needed to come and see you. And what every single client says, that my space is so warm, inviting, and positive. And they love the way they feel when they come through my doors. So it's a God-given talent that I am able to create that kind of atmosphere. So that's what people are coming for. You know, there's so many people, like, to go to the grocery store right now where I could walk from my house. I am sorry to say, but everybody is so negative. It's this whole image, you know, they carry a mask, you know, they have a mask on, which I totally get. They have gloves on. It's a very negative atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, fear is infiltration. And so, you know, we think about the fear and then how it's made manifest, and how do we disrupt the fear, and not just with like positivity, right, per se, because we have to acknowledge the suffering, because people are suffering at a high degree. And there is a wave of suffering that is coming just by the sheer fact of the financial implications. And, you know, it's viral economics right now, right? So how can we as human beings be the vision of hope, of joy, of faith?
How can we be that? I mean, the way I've been existing is really who I am. I mean, I'm just being myself, you know, giving them encouragement, you know, that we're all in this together. I love that. That reminds me that it's going to be okay. You know, and then giving them tools, you know, but they have to do the work, right? You know, there's some people that are going to do the work. Some people haven't done the work. Some people are not willing to do the work.
Yeah, exactly.
And we could talk about many people there.
Yeah. And, you know, and unfortunately what happens is everything is exacerbated with trauma. And what's happening right now is trauma, and it's bringing up trauma from whether it be our childhood or karmic trauma. And I think that that's what you know, with the biocharger. And I think also having powerful conversations with people, how are we showing up to be game changers or shift energy or hold safe, sacred space for people? And what does that look like for all of us? And I think number one thing, I think that you and I both agree on this because we both have a health and wellness perspective, is that in what ways can we self-honor ourselves, you know, in the highest and best way? And what does that look like? How do we nurture our soul? And I don't want to, you know, I'm not meaning to, and you and I, we're pretty much have a balance, yin and yang. We're not super femme and not super, you know what I mean? Like we're balanced in that energy.
Yes.
So, and I think a lot of our society is now shifting that it's not just like the positive affirmations and all that. That's no longer going to be the Band-Aid, right? Right now we have to rip things off because now is the time to heal. We need to heal Mother Earth. We need to heal ourselves. We need to heal our families and our relationships. And we need to heal our communities and the world at large. You know, it's not a small task. And our children, I mean, we both have children. You know, I think part of the reason I think my son Will was like, you know, we checked out of this world at the physical plane, was like, I can't serve at the highest level here on the physical plane. I'm checking out and I'm going to be watching from above. I'm going to be doing my magic from above. But, you know, our children left behind here that are working the magic, it's going to be their work. And that's a big responsibility for us to step out of the way of letting our children stand up and be the warriors that they came here to be, because we need them.
We do. We really do. I mean, I look at, you know, they're not in school, they're doing homeschool, and seeing how one child is so motivated, the other one's not, you know? So it's just, and seeing how they're going to show up in this world. Right. It's really about stepping up.
Inspire them, right? And I know you have a lot of really powerful conversations with your kids. You don't shy away from that. What would you recommend to other moms and dads that are listening about how we can instill hope and courage in our own children?
Well, I think realizing that each child learns in a different way. So how do you, and letting them know, I'm here for you if you have a question or if you need help or assistance or ideas. You know, it's not, of course, doing the work for them, but it's encouraging them and seeing where their limits are, like what, you know, how they learn quickly. You know, my daughter is a different learner than my son, you know, and embracing that. Because we don't get to see that because they're in school.
Right.
So now it's like we get to see them do their work and see how they thrive, you know, or what makes them thrive and motivated.
Or where they're challenged, right? And
yeah, like my son's got to go outside.
He absolutely does, like 20 minutes and then go outside, right? Yep. And then how do we encourage our boys to make sure that they're built into some form of community? Because what happens? They don't have sports, or they don't have school anymore. You know, so they lose those elements. And I think the people that are more susceptible to social isolation are the people that maybe it's been more difficult to create emotional ties. So how do you encourage your children, despite their differences, and what kind of conversations do you have with them to be in tune with who they are and how they show up in the world?
You know, I'm a good listener for them. I encourage them. I motivate them with positivity. I mean, I'm a realist too. I'm like, you know, I know this sucks. This sucks, Johnny. Yeah. But what's going to make you happy? Let's have a balance. You know, you got to do some schoolwork and then take a break, you know, because he's a very, you know, he wants to be with friends all the time. So he's
super social. Oh, wow. Yeah. Because you guys had social distancing way after us. Florida was delayed. Oh. So hopefully you guys are safe down there and taking it seriously now. But so that's a child that needs, so, you know, right. So exactly. So maybe it's how can we still build community, help our children build community in their relationships and communication skills. And I think you're a great model for that.
Thank you.
You know, it's like, how do you create that level of transparency? You know, that it isn't all like right now, as I said, level playing field. It's not going to be about what school you get into. You know, everything has shifted. The whole college experience has shifted, because how many schools and people are going to be like, well, I don't want to go to a college and pay $100,000 a year if I can just study the same stuff at home. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everything is shifting. And so like, what are the values, you know, viewers, that you want to instill in your children that are based on your own legacy and theirs? Like, how do we get out of the way of them living fully in who they came here to be? It's a challenge.
It is a challenge. I mean, because, you know, I'm a born entrepreneur. So I don't know if my kids are entrepreneurs. I think my daughter is, you know, but I don't know about my son. I think that he maybe needs to work with somebody, and what are his talents, you know, and chiming in on that. See, I was gifted because I knew that I was very good in fashion and I was very good at fitness.
Right. Yeah. You just knew it.
I just knew it. So I've always been in those arenas.
Yeah. And did your parents foster that in you?
You know what? They're so polar opposite. I mean, you know, my father's a pathologist and my mother was a pharmacist. So they just were very encouraging. They were like, go do what you need to do. You know, I was the fourth out of the five. So
yeah, that's right.
Still like, you have to do this. You should be a doctor. Like, no, I didn't have that. I was so lucky.
Yeah, right. I know you were well loved, and that's really clear that you were. So that's wonderful. So how about, you know, you're a single mom. I mean, you know, you're in a nice committed relationship. It's wonderful. So how are you balancing the kind of the single mom vibe through this? Because I think it's challenging. You know, it's a challenging experience as an entrepreneur and a mom right now.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it in a really positive way because I get them week on, week off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's true. That's pretty good. Yeah,
it's really awesome. Yeah. So I get a little bit of a break, but I mean, I talk to them every day. I mean, my daughter calls me every day, even when she's, you know, not with me. Yeah. So, you know, it's that balance, you know, like now I can focus on this. Like I focus on certain things. I focus on them when they're here with me. Yeah. I focus on my business when they're not with me.
Right.
So that's how I balance that.
That's good. So it works out. So a lot of moms, I interviewed one woman, Brittany, and has two little kids at home, and she's working out of her closet. She has a full-time job, you know, so I was just like, man, right. It's like, yeah. And so she's just grateful that she has that job. Would there be any words of encouragement you'd like to provide other moms, and any tips or strategies that work for you?
Definitely take time for yourself, even if it's for 5 minutes. Go meditate, go do exercise, go for a walk, do something for yourself every day. I don't care if it's 5 minutes or an hour.
Yeah, good. I love that.
I just find that.
Of that, Barb, do you think, for most women?
Well, they just get caught in the hamster wheel. I got to do. It's like, no, stop. Everything is, there's always going to be work to do.
Yeah. So it's encased in the doing, right?
I mean, I leave my kitchen a mess sometimes. I don't care. I need a break.
That's awesome. Yeah. So don't be afraid. So it's like embracing the mess in the middle. It's okay. Yeah. There always will be dishes in the sink. They're not going anywhere.
Exactly.
So when you come back, that stuff is still going to be in the dryer. It is a never-ending cycle of doing, Mother.
Absolutely.
But if we don't slow it down enough, especially now with this high intensity of anxiety and uncertainty, if we're not taking that time now, we're toast, and we're no good for ourselves, and we're no good for our children and our lovers and our friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so true. So is there any, just want to respect your time, is there any last minute tips or strategies or conversation you'd like to add?
So just, I would, you know, get yourself into a routine. You know, that's important. Don't, like, I take a shower every morning. I get dressed every day. Like, I could easily, not really though, sit in my pajamas all day.
Don't lie. Come on. No, you couldn't. Yeah. No, right?
I can't. Right. I gotta get dressed. I put makeup on. I'm sorry, but I need to feel pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's just, I was just born, you know, I'm like that because I'm in the you know, I don't know who I'm going to run into, or I don't care. I want to feel good for me.
Yes, exactly.
So that would be my tip.
Yeah, that's good. So self-care, get dressed in the morning. You know, I've been wearing jeans because I got to know that I can still fit into these bad Larrys when time goes down. So every couple of days I put on jeans and make sure I can still squeeze into these like a sausage, right?
I love it. I love it.
One of the things I've been doing is just I have like apps on my phone, and one of them is I want to get my splits back. And then I have like my ab thing, and so I have, and these workouts are short and sweet. It's not like this huge requirement, and the benefit is we can do them in our homes and create a sacred area in your home. That's one thing that I would love to add. I actually have up there on my mantle.
I love that.
It's my altar. So every day I light a candle and incense, and I have my meditation and prayer and my sacred reading happen every day.
I love that. I hula hoop every day.
Yeah, see? That's right. So that's your sacred circle.
Yep. Yep. I just adore you.
I adore you. Barbara, thank you so much for being on.
Welcome.
And we will talk later, but I will share Barbara's information so that you can follow her beautiful work that she's doing on Zoom with both the yoga and the meditation, the link to her book as well. And I know she's working on a few more projects, including the biocharger. So I will include those in the notes as well. To all viewers and listeners, thank you so much. And Barbara, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day, Katie.